It's lovely, she lies, in her most gracious of voices, looking around at the tired wood panelling lining the walls of the living room, floor to ceiling. As she looks down, her gaze lands on well-worn salmon-pink shag carpeting, and she quickly conceals her horror. Emma wonders if this house might not be beyond even her capabilities to transform. Perhaps the landlord would let her paint it. Surely he would let her paint it. Who wouldn't want to lighten up this room, so dark it feels more like a cave? She would paint it for free and pull up that carpet. Maybe she would be lucky and find a hardwood floor underneath. Even if it was merely concrete, surely it wouldn't cost too much to stick down some inexpensive sisal. This room could be transformed, she determines. Lipstick on a pig is her specialty. Her landlord, or potential landlord, smiles. "Hey, I know it's not everyone's taste today," he says. "Why do people want everything to be grey and modern?" Emma is surprised by his comment, surprised, frankly, by his interest in making small talk. "I hate that look," Emma offers. It happens that she does agree, quite passionately, in fact. None of those decorated houses feel like real homes. "Exactly," he says in delight. "This is a home." Struck by his words, by the obvious sincerity with which they are spoken, she turns to look at her potential landlord for the first time. She can't help but feel struck by the sight of him. He is not too tall, only a few inches taller than her, with skin tanned by the sun and an easy smile that seems to put her at ease. It isn't so much that she finds him attractive, but that there is something familiar about him, a recognition, a sense of having somehow met him before. Perhaps because she has remained silent, he goes on to add, "At least it was a home. My grandparents lived here for 40 years. "Yes," thinks Emma, "it looks like it. It smells like it, too. The air is fusty. Of course old people had lived here. That explains the wood panelling and the floral wallpaper in the family room. It also explains the salmon-pink carpet and avocado-green bathroom suite with matching tile." "How would you feel about me putting—" Emma pauses, wondering how to say this diplomatically. She doesn't want to jump in and tell him she'd like to tear everything out and start again. He probably doesn't want to change anything. His voice had softened when he mentioned his grandparents. She has an odd reluctance to offend him, and senses she'll need to take this slowly if she wants this house. "How about a woman's touch on the house?" "A woman's touch?" The landlord smiles and nods approvingly. "That's exactly what I've been saying this house needs for years. A woman's touch." She follows him into the kitchen at the back of the house, and her heart sinks slightly. It hasn't been touched since the 50s. Rough wood cabinets, bumpy with layers of white paint, although pretty black iron hardware. Formica countertops with large cracks, and linoleum floors. A stove that is so ancient as to be fashionable again, and surprisingly, a large, modern stainless steel fridge. Emma looks at the fridge and raises an eyebrow as she looks over at the landlord. "Damn," she thinks, "what was his name again? Donald? Derek? Something like that." "The old fridge gave up last year," he explains. "The tenants picked out this one, and I paid for it," he adds quickly, as if to reassure her that he is a good landlord, on top of everything, ready to jump in and deal with problems. "Great," says Emma, wandering over to the back door and peering out through the glass onto a fenced-in garden, or what could be a garden if the weeds were cleared. "Can I go outside?" she asks, already out the door. He follows her out, apologizing for the weeds. They both stand there as Emma looks around, her imagination already firing. There are 2 filthy, peeling rattan chairs stacked off to the side, surrounded by boxes and baskets. In other words, trash. The landlord turns to look and immediately apologizes. "I haven't been out here," he explains. "Obviously, all of that will be gone. I can replace those chairs with new ones." Emma is again struck by him. His eagerness to please doesn't seem solely mercenary. He wants her to know that he cares about the house and yard. "Do I get to choose what kinds of chairs the new ones are, like the fridge?" Emma says. "As long as they're not too expensive." "I am the expert at renovating on a shoestring." She smiles. "You're my kind of woman." He laughs as Emma flushes slightly and turns away. A flirtatious landlord is the last thing she wants right now. "Sorry." He apologizes immediately, realizing his mistake. "I was kidding, but I'm happy for you to choose things as long as they're within the budget."